skimmed them.
Hello, everyone. Thank you all so very much for joining us. We are back. We're back. This is Tip of the Tongue Talks. We are specifically talking about Interview with a Vampire. Today's episode is The Ruthless Pursuit of Blood with all a child's demanding. Of course, we've got to start it off by talking about the title. Hell yeah.
Oh my goodness. So we know that I love our titles. So the ruthless pursuit of blood. So there's nothing about drinking from one's veins that is anywhere near civilized. So the thing about it is it's a child, a newborn, which we have in Claudia in this particular episode. So even though it's not particularly civil, if I'm hungry, I'm hungry. So in this episode, the title is a lot of foreshadowing for things to come with Claudia's demanding versus how her parents actually see her as far as her hunger goes.
Ooh.
All right, all right. Before we go any further, there's this, a little quick little intro that we want you to watch and get yourselves situated. All right, so when we
I
left,
know y'all love that.
yeah, when we left, we were talking about Claudia, right? Um, so in this particular episode, we got to see the making of Claudia. Um, so we saw how not Lestat, we saw how Louis was made. But this time we got to see how Claudia was made. Different set of circumstances which created Claudia. Um, and I guess my question for you all right now is, if you were a 14-year-old child, how would you have adapted to the current situation that you found yourself in?
Okay, wait. Are we 14 back then during the 1900s? Are we 14 now? This is a difference.
Ooh,
Which one?
which one kind of wets your whistle?
Oh,
I don't think it mattered for me.
Okay, come on, Erica. Break it down.
I'll say because when I was 14, I was sticks and bones. And I heard a lot about it. And I don't know about for everybody else, but when growing up as a young lady, especially I couldn't wait to get on my bones. So I don't know. I don't think it would have mattered. I don't think it would have mattered, especially in the Black community. No, I don't think it would have mattered.
so what I hear you saying is you can relate to Claudia's problem that comes into play a little bit later.
Yeah. It would have been. I am she is me. I'd have started ripping body parts off too.
You got something. I'm jealous.
I'm a hater. Oh my gosh.
You mean
I'm gonna have to stuff it for the rest of my life? Oh yeah, somebody gotta go.
Man,
I gotta use toilet paper forever.
Look, ain't enough.
Just straight up and down. She ain't got
about
no meat. Just straight
I
up
don't know
and
if
down,
y'all
poor
ever
baby.
experienced stuff in your bro, but it's whack.
Never.
It's top tier whack. Like it's at the
I've been blessed since I was 9 years old.
And
Baby.
cursed all at the same time.
I didn't get my blessing and curse until I was almost 16 years old, baby. Listen, I thought I was never gonna get no curves.
Nah, but I can see where she's coming from in terms of how she being 14 years old, going back to being 14 years old and thinking about all of the things that she has to do, because Lestat basically treats her like an adult. he doesn't treat her like she's 14. And Louis is treating her like she's a 14-year-old child. So it's that dynamic of how do I actually like navigate this world? Am I a child or am I an adult? I don't know which one. And so you see her acting out because she's trying to figure out her boundaries and what those boundaries actually are, because she's not a human, she's a vampire. And she's trying to push them just like any other child would. So it was really interesting to see that dynamic of it.
Felicia, I see you nodding a lot.
Yeah, I think that like if that was me during, if I was like a 14-year-old now in today's time and I'm a vampire, I'm like, I'm an influencer, guys. I'm a vampire. I know you want my life. Back then, though, I don't know, because whenever I think about like vampires, I think about like Twilight, The Vampire Diaries, all those different shows. And being a vampire at a young age like that, like it's forbidden because they don't know how to control themselves. And they're just out there killing people and doing the most, which is what she did on the show. And so like the Volturi, if this was Twilight, they would have been like, oh no, get rid of her. We're not about to have her out here like getting us caught, getting us exposed. And so the fact that she was doing that all alone, like, yeah, Lestat or the French daddy, whatever his name, French white
White.
him. He was treating her like she was an adult and very much like, look, what are we? Are we brother? Are we sister? Are we like, what is it? But Louis, like, he really did have that connection with her to like love on her, like she was really his child. And so she just really, to me, she just didn't really know how to like handle any of that. But yeah, I think I was blessed to I didn't have curves, but I had like boobies and all that at 14. But for her, like, imagine already, like, you don't know, you're a Black girl growing up in the red light district of New Orleans, and now you're just that. So even when she came down the stairs and she was ready to go out, like, and the dads were like, oh, look at you. And then she goes outside and those three mean girls, like, look at her in her mom's clothes. And that made her feel so sad because she thought she was doing something. So that was really like sad for me to see her go through that.
You know what I did love though? The drunk scene. When she was like, there is a lot of liquor and drugs in his system. That had to be one of my favorite parts, because reminded me when I went into my parents' liquor cabinet and filled it back with water, not realizing that I was drinking a $50 bottle of champagne. And I'm just like, go, 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 go,
Oh,
go, take it to
no.
the head. And she is sitting here drunk as a skunk, out of her mind, letting the police in the house and everything. Like, what,
Yes.
Daddy Lou? I did it,
Yes.
and what? I do
Yes.
it again. It had all just wilding. I loved every part of that.
So Brittany just took us there. So basically, Claudia had this insatiable lust for blood. Hell yeah. Tell us.
So it's really hard to be satiated as a child, right? Because if
Mm,
something is really really good, it's just like if you give a kid sweets, they're not going to stop eating it until it makes them sick, and even then they may still try to push it. So this is, a whole new realm for Claudia. This bloodlust that she has, it's not going to go away because it's new. She lacks the maturity to have this self-control, and it doesn't help that her caregivers are not on the same page. You have
mm-mm.
Lestat that's like, hey, I'm about to take you out here, put you out here in these streets. You gonna get this car, I'm gonna get that car, and go for what you know. I need you to take them both down. Versus Louis, like, hey, let's get on a boat. I'm gonna go fishing and we can eat off the blood of animals. And Claudia's like, ew, I
I'm
don't
not
do
doing
that.
that.
They don't even taste the same. So yeah, for me, it's like, no, she is gonna struggle. It's like trying to give a newborn, something that's not mom's milk, or something close. Like, it's not gonna work. It's absolutely not
Mm-mm.
gonna work.
This don't taste the same. Erica, your face is telling me up so much right now. Articulate what's happening.
I think it wasn't even just that. It's like, have you had teenagers? Like, does anybody raise teenagers? They don't stop eating. And they start hitting
The metabolism.
with
You're right.
a teenage vampire. Like, who knows how long it was gonna take before she stopped acting like that.
Mm.
Like,
You're right.
and then for a little while, she, whenever she's hiding stuff all over the house, obviously she's checked out because y'all didn't, because who wouldn't go crazy? I'm trapped in a prepubescent body, but I'm grown as hell. I'm
She done
100 years,
checked out and started saving fingers and
yeah,
breasts
I'm
Yeah.
100
I
and
years
mean,
old. Y'all
toes.
playing games.
She
but
got nubs, just nubs
A,
everywhere,
a
like little
serial killer
snacks for later.
vampire.
but my
Yeah.
question
I'm like, what
is,
is
they're
this?
vampires. Shouldn't they have smelled that?
I was thinking the same
Yeah,
thing.
Yeah.
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 And then she had the random guy in the closet
But
to
but
snack on for
Decapitate.
later.
With
That's what
flies
kids
too?
do. They nasty. They be putting all types of food underneath their bed.
but
And
in
so
that
she, not a human, she just kept a human just starved to death in her closet for a snack for later.
but my question is like how long had that been in the house? Like I'm wondering because I know whenever they got back and the cops were there and they were searching, she has these things kind of placed around the house. I'm wondering how long she had been storing these things.
They were
For months. They said she was to herself. Wasn't she like to herself and
and they were trying to get
acting
away.
all weird?
That's
Yeah.
because her little boo thing died, and he had made that
He didn't
horrible,
he didn't die. He was
uh,
murdered.
right,
She ate
murder,
her boyfriend.
which is something you might want to tell somebody could happen if they have sex. You know what I'm saying? Like that would have been good information to give Lestat. While you sending her out here in the world with her nose wide open, you just let her discover it.
Yeah,
You ain't burning two dead flies.
but this is the same guy that allowed Louis to go out in broad daylight as a new vampire. You gotta
That's right.
understand. Like,
Oh, you
let's
must have
not.
forgot what happened last
But
Oh,
night.
why wouldn't he talk about how to make another vampire? Like she's sitting out here going and hunting, trying to find somebody that she can have as her boot thing.
I got the
But he,
answer. I
okay,
got the
go.
answer. So Lestat always felt like, I'm assuming this, but the way in which Lestat was made, his maker basically said, this is how you eat, and this is how you not die. And he basically taught him nothing else. Lestat knows nothing. Part of the reason why Louis and
Mm,
Claudia can't find anything out from him is because he knows nothing as a vampire.
And
Most
that's
other vampires, when they're made, their maker tells them all these things. He doesn't know. He doesn't know any of these things
so
that's
how did he figure out how to make Louis?
age probably.
because of how he was made.
But
Only
why
because
can't Claudia make another one?
I'm sure they tried. I'm sure he probably tried for years.
she's just too young.
Oh,
Oh, you don't think she'll ever be strong enough because of the shell she was made in?
Because of what she was made
The shell,
in.
the pubescent shell.
Yeah, basically. So in the book, now okay, so in the book she was 5 years old. So
mm.
now they're trying to do it with a 14-year-old. I'm assuming that a 14-year-old probably could have been able to, but I think they wanted to keep it as close to the book as possible.
Yeah,
Okay,
because a 5-year-old would have made it really cringy.
Mhm.
Mhm.
whole thing.
Creep show.
Yeah, I
Next.
would have been off.
I would have been freaked out.
All right. So speaking of the questions, so we saw in this particular episode where Claudia had a whole lot of questions. She had questions that she gave towards Lestat. She had questions that she posed towards Louis. Um, and at that particular point in time, she was trying to understand who and what she was, in terms of being a vampire. And I remember when I was young. Now I had that. I think I was like 6 or 7 years old. I went through that. Like I was asking a whole lot of questions. But as a young girl now who is a vampire, I'm assuming that her questions are like on a whole other level, right? And she's basically being told by Lestat, shut up, be quiet. I'm not answering that. I'm giving you half answers, not the truth. Um, as a 14-year-old girl, if your father is not giving you the answer or is not being truthful, how does that make you feel?
Very uncomfortable and very angry.
And unseen,
Yes,
unheard.
unseen.
So
It's
that's
like somebody's ignoring you, and no matter what you say, they just keep ignoring you. And that, as a young Black woman or a young Black girl, is detrimental to your self-esteem and who you are fundamentally.
How does it make you react?
You're gonna go find it.
Ooh.
And that's what she was trying to do. Remember?
Try not
Okay.
to cuss.
Am I tripping? But I feel like when she was out there, like she was doing this to a lot of men, right? She was trying to find this in a lot of men. But wasn't she trying to make them, like turn them to? But it wasn't working for her. And so I think, like, yeah, she was trying to figure out, because I think, isn't this episode where she was like went off on Lestat and Louis was like, well, who's gonna do it with me? And that's when Lestat was like, kind of not my type. So
yeah, I like the figure.
But it right. But it goes back into like especially with young girls when they're not getting it from their fathers, they're gonna go out there and look for it in someone else. And that probably made her even more frustrated, the fact that she couldn't make somebody else to be that person for her. So yeah, that's it. That's incredibly frustrating.
I agree with you.
Claudia had a lot going on. Claudia is a young Black woman in the South, a vampire, 2 dads, no mom.
One's a French wife.
Yeah, right. So her whole story is just like, man, a story that needed to be written. Like, my goodness, you just didn't stand a chance. Like, you were going to be a serial killer. Now you're a serial killer vampire.
When she said that she had tried to change one from the Holly Grove, I said, "Ooh, she was about to get her a real one right there."
From the Holly Grove.
She said, "Holly Grove, I wanted me one from the Holly Grove, and I couldn't even change him." I said, "Damn, she was about to have her." She's like, "I'm gonna have me a love of my life, and it's gonna be toxic, just like Lestat, straight Holly Grove."
Claudia had bodies, okay, bodies.
She had a team, and she ate her whole team.
So at the end of that episode, we saw that she returns, and she basically she wants Louis to go with her, right? And Lestat reacted, fight of a century. In the next episode, like angels put in hell by God, Lestat basically is doing his very best to win them over. Not just Louis, but also Claudia. But in the meantime, Claudia is the caretaker. All right, so now you're a 14-year-old girl. Let's say that she's no longer 24. Let's say she's about 25, right? Some time has passed.
Went through that trauma.
Right. So you're now 25-ish years old. You're taking care of one of your fathers who has been beaten by another
brutally
father.
Baby.
Now she's clearly upset by this, right?
Oh yeah. She ain't fooling with it.
How would you have reacted?
The same exact way. When she scratched that car, I said, "That is my spirit."
I love her for doing that. That was so funny.
When she took the nails, it was like, "Oh, it's a new car. Forget your car."
Lestat is so matter of fact, and all of that, and she is unimpressed. And so, yeah, I'm with you, Erica. Like, yep, this is how I feel about your car. Let me throw your keys across the street too.
Yeah. I love how like she really loved Louis, how she came back, because remember how their house was looking whenever she was gone, like a shit show. And when she came back, she like got the house back together. She was really taking care of him and doing everything she needed. So whenever Lestat came back, like the B word he is, to try to win him back. Now at this point, I do think that Lestat really loves Louis, right? But Claudia, she was like, he lying. Because whenever he was like, "Oh, I'm just going out to get some food, some whatever," she was like standing outside the hotel room looking at him like, See, whenever he went to go
with
to
his
that other
Antoinette.
Antoinette.
He ain't
So I
trying.
really like her.
He made you a song
But
with the heifer,
but-
heifer that he was running around with. He gonna put her on the record for the apology song.
exactly. The one you cheated on me with?
He had Louis swimming in the Mississippi looking for him.
Because he was that mad.
I can swim faster than I can drive.
And look,
But wait,
the stat though
but
was
wait.
you
He
did
was
that for
turned
me.
on.
Yes.
Antoinette, get out of here.
Why did she get mad with you though?
That's why he sent the record, just to make you do that, because he knew he was about to piss you off.
And then was like, that's how I
You're
know you my
right.
love. That's how I know you love me. That's toxic right there. That
Yeah.
right there.
It is, but it was
toxic.
the sexiest shit I had seen so
It
far.
was so sexy. It triggered me.
was.
I was upset. I was like, I see.
It
No,
triggered-
don't look at me in my eyes. I can't. This is no.
Listen, y'all sitting up there talking about real Lestat love, but I'm gonna tell you like this. I done had me some toxic relationships that had me out there. When I saw Louis cross the river for him, I said, Louis, run the other way. That level of toxic where you gonna go over there and he over there with that woman? Woo-hoo.
And
then you
kicked her
still
out his
slept
own
with him?
house. Yeah, in
Put
her
her out
bed.
her own house and still slept with him? Baby,
In
you need
Antoinette
to
bed.
get off the dope.
I don't
What
want
is
no
he
part.
doing to you like that? Ooh.
Levitating.
Oh, that's my go-to. Levitating.
All right, so none of y'all ever bust the windows out of somebody's car?
Baby, listen.
I'm not saying that on record.
You not say, okay, well, you know that's true.
Baby, listen. I'm gonna tell you, I can't do
1,
it.
2, 3, 4, 5. Please.
You got to get out of that level of toxic.
never
You
popped
got
up
to. 'cause
nobody's
that's
crib.
toxic.
You ain't had no key. You ain't never
What'd you say?
You never popped up in nobody's crib and was in their crib without a key.
Oh yeah.
Look.
Oh yeah.
Y'all crazy.
Oh yeah.
I love it.
Coming in and surveying the place. Excuse me.
Mhm.
Move out the way. Let me look around.
We
My
gotta
20s
talk
were
more about
disastrous.
this off air. I need more off it. I need stories. I love it.
So what's going on up in here? Oh, I'm about to go home. I saw what I need to see. I'm leaving.
So finally, Lestat wins Louis' heart, and so when he comes, they're laying down the rules, right? They start with rule number 4: kill Antoinette. 5.
It's her saying it again for me. Kill Antoinette.
Kill Antoinette. She gotta go.
She got to go.
We had a meeting about it and we decided that she got.
It can't be her.
She got to kill her
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so clearly y'all in
with
favor
her
of
4 fingers.
that. Yeah,
That's how
okay.
you know she a clown. You let that man cut your finger off.
And he gonna talk about wear gloves.
Right.
He didn't make Louis cut his finger off. Talking about he loved Louis too, but he ain't do Louis like that.
That's what happens when you a side chick.
Look, she should have known her place then. But no. It was that moment when she was looking outside the window or looking inside, smoking her little cigarette, crying.
I said, girl, that's how no.
That's because she got the levitation too.
She got something, but I don't know. Would it have been good enough?
Listen,
Louis got to get away from him, baby.
must have been the way she was.
Everything about Lestat is toxic.
Like
yes.
they gonna be done in a little while.
Okay.
And
So-
that's what I'm saying.
I'm gonna wait.
I couldn't do that.
You at your own house.
I couldn't do that.
girl.
I couldn't do
It's
that.
my house. Go outside. Excuse me?
Could not do that.
The vampire said, "Get your Nositol and
Nah,
go outside."
if it was all
Now.
3 of us, okay, all right, I can do that. But no, you want me to leave? No,
Leave your good old warm bed. Get out.
Because I'll be like, you're gonna have to physically put me out because I ain't going nowhere. Nope.
And you know he would have.
And would have.
He would have.
Because Bay is there. And I can't. Listen,
He
I
smelling
can't
like
let
the
you pick
smelling
me.
like the
That's
Mississippi
an
River.
official pick me.
But let's talk about this. How would you? Okay, so if somebody is trying to get you back, but you see them, they're in the middle of having sex. Why would you want to? Why would you want to be with that person again?
I'm
because you
trying to
mine.
figure that out too.
What'd you say?
You mine. You mine. You not for
So
nobody else. You for me.
After
This
Louis
3
is
done
just
years.
lost his
and
mind.
this is just somebody that is here for a
For
Louis
minute.
the
done
time
lost.
I'm here
being,
for
yeah.
lifetime. For
I,
forever.
I'm
We
with
are
Brittany.
immortal.
I'm with Brittany. Let's that still needed to get him some in the midst of like Louis trying to figure out what he wanted.
No, um, no,
I mean, it was 3 years.
no.
but
I
you sent me this record.
that last time.
You making music and buying me vehicles and all kinds of stuff. No, not in the middle of sex.
Listen,
He's
I
still an
don't know
animal though.
I
I would
mean,
have
you
burned the
know that
house.
light the
you
whole
you
building
beat
on
me
fire.
up, but you know I was gonna heal, so you didn't really mean it.
I would have burned the house.
I'd burn the house because you know
I'd
he
have burned
gonna
it.
live. And give him a little blood. I'd burn it, put him in a man cave, and feed him blood, and know that he gonna come back to life. It's fine. We
See,
got a
no,
whole
that
plan.
I'm not. I don't. You don't have to be alive. I'm gonna burn the house.
I'm
I
definitely
think
the house.
I think we get confused because of Lestat's humane moments. He's an animal. Like he is
He
not
is.
human. So
He
he's
is.
not thinking on the same set of rules that we think though. He played different.
He's a
I love me some Lestat though.
He
But
played
like
I
different.
love
hard.
him.
with Lestat, remember his whole thing was like when he first turned Louis, he was like, "Be my companion, like be that person for me." And so I think he always knew that he still wanted Louis, and I think Louis, especially based on that last episode, we know that the nigga always wanted him too. But
Hell,
yeah,
Hmm.
I think that Lestat was just like, okay, you good now? It's time for you to wrap that up, fix the attitude. I need to get this back right.
Let's
So
go.
yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. All right. All right. So, so after the rules are laid down, um, basically there's a silent war between Lestat and Claudia over the affections of Louis.
Louise.
Mm-hmm.
So things change at this point,
he
right?
also
Hmm.
What's as you're watching this, what's going on through your minds?
She
I
said she playing
love.
checkers, not chess.
Mm.
I love that Louis and Claudia are like having this conversation where Lestat can't hear them at all. Like I love that so much,
Yeah.
and I love the way she says me. She don't say me. She says me. Come with me, Louis.
mhm.
But I love that. I love that they could communicate without Lestat being all up in their business.
Ooh, I like that too. I agree with you. I
I,
like that dynamic.
I love the dynamic. I love that Claudia stays very realistic and very grounded, while Louis is very jaded because of his love for Lestat. So she constantly reminds him of who Lestat is, even though he might
Hmm.
not necessarily want to hear it. And it's like you can tell Lestat is like just constantly pulling back the layers on Louis, while Claudia is unfazed, unmoved. She sees him for exactly who he is.
And she's
Hmm.
smart. She's smart. That's why, like, when you see everything play out on episode 7, you like, dang, she was really thinking stuff through. And the fact that she like what Mormon said, how Louis was so jaded. That's why she couldn't be honest with him about really what she had planned, because
Yep.
he was gonna ruin
Nose
it.
wide open.
So speaking of, there's a point where obviously the stat goes back to Antoinette. And okay, so we learn, Antoinette is still alive, but at the end of that scene, we also learn that Claudia and Louis also knows that Antoinette is alive.
Hmm.
And so in that moment, especially when they're walking back, what was going through your minds?
Oh shit. That's all I was thinking. I
I'm
was like, they gonna kill Antoinette.
I'm thinking like, what you gonna do now, Louis?
That too.
Like you lay
So
down the rules and you see that Lestat is not to be trifled with. He's gonna tell you what you want to hear, but he's straight up lying to you.
See, and that's where I'm
Lestat is a
coming
brat.
from. That's where I'm coming from. Like, if I were Louis, nah. See, another situation which I would have bust in, and somebody was gonna die. Me, you, or her. Somebody's gonna die. Me,
Or
you,
all
or her.
three.
Or all three.
All
I'm just
three.
saying.
We
Erica,
can go.
Erica was like,
But he
all
couldn't
three.
really do that though, because even when you go back to a few
I
episodes,
like
they
playing
made
with my
it
heart.
clear. They both made it clear that they can see other people, even if it's the same other person. But they made it clear that that was okay. I think the lie, like, okay, I'm a killer, and then he brings like the whatever, the ring and the finger. He was trying to lie to them, but I think even with that, I don't know. I think that they should have known that he wasn't really gonna kill her.
Molotov cocktail, all kinds of shit. And there I go. I
I think
cursed.
I think it's a little bit different in terms of saying that they could have an open relationship. I don't think he meant that he could actually like have a relationship with someone. I think he was trying to say you can have little
Flings.
little experiences,
You
you
followed me
know.
to the bayou, sir, when I was with an old flame.
Right.
You
All he
followed me to the bayou. Okay, and then now you
Like
got
some
this,
little creeper. That's what he
Uh-huh.
said.
you got this repeat floozy. Oh
No, you actually are in a full-blown relationship and we did not agree on that.
Yeah, there's clearly some part of Lestat that likes her. There is some part of him that likes her.
Yeah.
How and why, I don't know. Probably because she's a singer, right? Because we do know
Oh,
that he
yeah, that's
likes
true.
music.
no. And I think he knows that she has like this undying loyalty for Lestat too. Like she's just, she's not gonna push him in the way that Louis does. And I feel like he can get away with so much with her. And she's talented.
And she's simple.
Yeah, super basic.
She is like very much
Claudia
so.
said it. Claudia talked about her. About her
She
body.
is.
So after a certain point, Claudia basically decides that she wants to leave, and she's trying to get Louis to leave with her, but he chooses Lestat, right? But he gives his permission for her to go.
Mhm.
But that's not what happens.
Yes, indeed. See, that's when Lestat pulled that trump card. Like,
Oof.
okay, listen here, little girl. I don't fool with you for real, but Bae wants you here. So he was not look. He was not okay the first time you left, and you think just because he gave you permission that you can go? No. Here's what's gonna happen. You gonna
And
come back.
you know what's crazy is that he probably knew where she was at the whole time because he's her maker.
No. So, wait, Brittany, have you watched episode 7?
Yes.
Because you find out all of that. You find out like how he knew everything.
Yes, but I'm trying to,
Oh, okay. You trying to make it
Oh.
okay.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's what's up. Yeah.
But the way
Oh,
that
it
the way that the
me
writers
off.
flipped the switch, because I was like, wait a minute, I thought she left. But when they showed, I was like, oh, okay. He said no.
When he brought her back, I was very pissed off for her because
Oh, me too.
it was like,
Me too.
it was like,
Yeah.
yo, you know she don't fool with you. Why are you playing games right now? And it was one of those sinister things where it's almost like he had to remind her, I will kill you. And I'm allowing you to behave this way towards me. And I think that's one of those things that, like, when it hits you, it's like,
So she had no choice but to come back.
Yeah, he's like, again, as he told her the day that he beat the crap out of Louis. It's never been you. This is about Louis. And again, here you go playing with me trying to leave when I done told you. Even though he said in front of Louis, It's about both of you. I love you both.
Since I
But
got
the
to a long
moment
call.
it looks like it's going otherwise, what do you do? Girl, didn't I tell
Mhm.
you that this is
Mhm.
about Louis?
Yeah. And so that's when the game of chess really began, right?
Mhm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
that's when Claudia and you know at the end of that episode, basically at the end of the episode, Claudia finally beat him, which kind of lets you know that she was probably able to beat him long before.
Uh-huh.
Um,
She
but
finally
at
let him see it.
Yeah.
exactly,
He said,
exactly.
"Come finish
No,
the
I don't.
game."
Hmm.
I don't know
And
if I
she wouldn't
agree.
give him the satisfaction.
I don't know if
Mhm.
I agree. I think it was a point of like development, right? I don't think she always could. I think as she
I
studied
think she
him,
always could.
she learned, you know,
Mhm.
and then she eventually got there, you know.
I agree with that.
So I think what she was doing, this is just a me thing, because you know sometimes I think a little too much. When it came to chess, what she was always trying to confuse him. She was always trying to do something to kind of get him off his game. And I think in that moment she realized, hey, just be random, because every single thing that she tried, it couldn't throw him off, but being random, that threw him off.
Mhm. But she was paying attention. You start to notice how she literally pays attention to
Mm-hmm.
all things. What's that?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
A
Mm-hmm.
woman on a mission, okay?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Dangerous.
Well, you can't back people into a corner and tell them you're not gonna let them leave. See, there's the thing. Here's the thing.
Or
No.
question their intelligence.
Yeah,
She
Right.
like
Mhm.
always questions her intelligence.
And she's just as cunning as you are. So, and she's
because
been on
he had
Earth
a hand in
longer,
rearing
but
her too, though. As much as she don't want to admit it, like she has father affection towards Louis, but Lestat is just as responsible for her insanity as anyone else.
Mhm.
So the fact that he would back her into a corner like she isn't a product of his own creation is ridiculous.
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Flesh
Yeah.
of
Mm-hmm.
your flesh, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So at the very end of this particular episode, this is Daniel. Daniel is the reporter. He's been not drugged, but he's been given his medicine or whatever. And he falls asleep and he dreams. Yo, Felicia, what did he dream about?
So he dreamed about that night he first met Louis at the bar, and um, now who is the guy? What's his first name? Rashid
Rashid?
walks
Rashid.
in and he's like, do what you need to do, and he's like, "Nigga, you look the same age, like as you do now." And this is back in the '70s, so it's however long ago, whatever. And so yeah, he dreams of he remembers seeing Rashid that night he met Louis.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
He
in
starts
this
realizing
moment,
he's
what
older
were you
too.
thinking? In this moment, when you saw this, what were you thinking?
I was like,
Rashid got some popping contacts.
no, I was like, how is he? The thing I thought about was he's not a vampire. He can't be a vampire because Louis was just sucking off of his neck.
Mhm.
Surely he doesn't want another vampire's blood. I'm sure it don't taste like a human. So then I was just like, how does he still look the same? So I was very confused.
I
Erica.
thought it was levels to this vampire shit. I was like, I'm sorry, this vampire. I was like, well, obviously he's the ghoul of some kind because
Yeah.
A ghoul. I
yeah,
love
you're some type of like super
Minion.
respectful minion because. But then I was like, what kind of? But you can't be a minion if you've been rolling with him that long,
That's
and
right.
you be caping for him. So I'm like, well, shit,
Who are you?
Yup.
like, why are you still young? Who are you really? I thought it was someone very special we were being introduced to, because I didn't remember a Rashid from anything. So I was like, oh, a new character.
Really?
Because even though he's been there, he hasn't really been there. Like they don't emphasize his character until that moment when Daniel's like, When he wakes up and you're like, wait a minute, I know this nigga too. Like, hold on, I'm sorry, can I say that? Like, I know this guy too. Like, why is he here?
I think she means she doesn't remember him from like the past, like the movie or from the book.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. My bad.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah.
At first, I thought Rashid was the dad. I thought that it was like his dad or something, and that he was like a second generation or something like that, helping, like kind of like a butler. You know, like with Batman, you have Batman's dad that was a butler, and
Yeah.
then like I just started thinking all these different things, and then I had to look at it, and I was like, wait a minute, I think he's a vampire.
You know what I was thinking at first? I was thinking he was somebody who wanted to turn into a vampire. So he's like, I'm gonna do
Yep.
everything to help Louis out.
That too.
Vampire training.
Yeah.
Look,
Yeah.
that's exactly what I thought. I really, what Felicia just said, that's exactly what I thought. I thought that's what he wanted, but at the same time, that age, that didn't make sense.
Not at all.
That didn't make sense.
Yeah.
So I was like, like I couldn't wrap my brain around the possibilities. And what Brittany said, I would not allow my mind to go there.
Yeah,
I wouldn't.
I just knew it. I agree. I just knew he was a new character. I didn't think vampire though. I was just like, what kind of role is this? Like, are we being introduced to something else Anne Rice wrote about that I don't remember?
A witch.
Look, a warlock. All I thought was plot twist. Who is this? That was it. Like no further than that. Just like plot twist.
Especially with the name Rashid. I was like, I don't even remember him.
Right. Exactly. 100%. 100%.
This is a new character.
Which is why, to your point, Erica, like, why should we invest so much attention to this particular character? Because it's not a name that we're familiar with.
Nope. Not at all.
Well played, I must say.
I like his dynamic though, like going back and thinking about Rashid and how he has been a part of the show from every aspect of it. I was like, yo, this is deep. Rashid is really that dude.
Yeah,
he's like every part of Louis' life. He's a part of it. And then he only eats pineapple and honey or something like that. What did he say?
Trying to taste right for the boy.
Wait a minute. When he said that, I was like, ooh.
That is very seductive.
I was like,
what does his blood taste like?
I was like, what y'all really doing? Like, for real, what y'all doing?
Because I know when we eat pineapple, but we eating it for. So what is he eating?
Exactly.
Does it work like that for humans?
Like, okay, what's the recipe, Rashid?
Yeah.
You know what else though? Even seeing him like pray and as many times as he did throughout the day, it's like it makes me now think like, how is he still like tied to his religion? And he's been a lot. Well, yeah.
Okay, look. We're automatically jumping to episode 7, and so with that means that we've got to end this particular episode. Thank you all so very much for joining us. Hopefully by now you've liked, subscribed, commented, shared, posted this to all of your social media. Thank you once again for watching us. We really do appreciate it. See you all.